are live images that are coming from the Cuttack hospital. The Prime Minister has just reached Cuttack. The Prime Minister will be interacting with the injured. He's issued a directive to the Union Health Minister and to the administration to provide all relief possible to the injured and their families. He's also said that the next of kin of those who were killed should be helped as much as possible and reduce the red tape, ensure they get the mortal remains. That's the information that's coming in from the administration at this point of time. The Prime Minister has just arrived at the hospital. Dharmendra Pradhan, Union Minister, Union HRD Minister, flanks him, as does the Union Minister for Railways. Ashwini Vaishnav also with the Prime Minister as he reaches the hospital to interact with the injured. He is now at Cuttack. He was in Balasore. This is a huge tragedy, one of the worst. 3 trains collided. The initial information that we've been able to gather seems to indicate this was either some kind of a signaling failure. Was it also a mechanical failure? The information is that the goods train was on a loop line. The Coromandel Express wasn't supposed to stop at the station, was to go all the way through. But somehow what went wrong is a matter of investigation, because the information that is filtering out from the railways seems to indicate that instead of going on the through line, the Coromandel Express also went on the loop line and collided with the goods train. And then some of the bogies of that high-speed crash, after that high-speed crash, some of the bogies fell on the down line and an oncoming train rammed into those bogies. This is how that triple tragedy is believed to have taken place. It is still a matter of investigation. You have India Today's reporters on ground zero getting you the latest. The Prime Minister will be visiting different hospitals. He's visiting the injured in the hospital in Balasore. He'll be visiting the injured at hospitals in Cuttack before returning to the national capital. The Prime Minister taking stock of the situation. Remember, mobility is something that India is big on. Infrastructure development is something that India is focusing massively on. However, tragedies like this take away from the effort that's being put in, because multiple questions are being asked about: 1, the state of infrastructure; 2, maintenance; 3, what is being done, whether it's a human error, a mechanical failure, or a signal error. I have India Today's Indrajit Kundu joining me with more on this. Indrajit, what more can you tell us about the Prime Minister's interaction with the injured and with officials both of the railways and the NDRF?
Well, Gaurav, at this point in time, the Prime Minister is, at the hospital, and he's meeting those injured. Now, interestingly, when he was there at the accident site, there was an expectation that he might address the media, which didn't happen. And so there is an expectation now that once he comes out of the hospital, will he address the media? Because while at the accident site, he did speak to the rail minister, he did speak to the railway officials and the NDRF officials there, and he was thoroughly briefed about the rescue and relief operation, as well as the following restoration operation which is supposed to take place. At the hospital, of course, he will try and give confidence to those people who are injured. This optics is very, very important, because this comes at a time when there will be a lot of question marks on the safety and security of Indian Railways, and it has, in a sense, dented the confidence of the passengers. So in that sense, the Prime Minister meeting these injured and trying to, step them up and give them the confidence boost, that image would go a long way in, dispelling any any image that the Indian Railways might not be a safe or passenger friendly.
A moment, I quickly want to cut across to our sister channel Aaj Tak.
किस तरह का रिएक्शन था, प्रधानमंत्री का अपना स्टाइल है, वो पूछते हैं कि उस वक्त जो है किस तरह का उनका एक्सपीरियंस रहा है, या फिर जो है कैसे वो अस्पताल पहुंचे, किस तरह का मदद जो है उनको मिला, तो तमाम चीजें वो जो है बातें करते हैं उस तरह से, ताकि जो है
Okay, Satyajit on ground zero getting us that report. I once again want to come back to Indrajit on this. There's also heated politics on the subject, Indrajit. Mamata Banerjee has been Railways Minister. She's currently the Bengal Chief Minister. She's visited the... she's reacted to this, as has Naveen Patnaik. What more can you tell us about the high-octane politics already?
Well, the Trinamool Congress very forthright in its demand for resignation of the Railway Minister. In fact, just a short while back, once again, Trinamool Congress National General Secretary Abhishek Banerjee has renewed his demand for seeking resignation of the Railway Minister. So, Mamata Banerjee did visit this place. She came here this afternoon and she addressed, in a sense, a joint press conference with Ashwini Vaishnav. What transpired after that was very, very interesting, because there seems to be a difference of opinion and an altercation between the Chief Minister and the Railway Minister over the death toll numbers. Because what Mamata Banerjee said, that she claimed that she was given to understand that the death toll might even go up to 500. It is a shocking figure. And she said that she was immediately corrected by the Railway Minister, saying that, the death toll at this point in time stands at 238, and that is the official figure that has been shared by the state government. However, Mamata Banerjee was adamant at her position, and she said that it was a number still yesterday, and the fresh casualties had not been added up. To which Ashwini Vaishnav once again said that no, all the bogies have now been cleared and all dead bodies have now been counted for. But Mamata Banerjee did not seem to accept that argument, and the difference of opinion remains. So clearly, political differences giving way to differences over what the reality is, the factual position is.
And the factual position that you've been able to gather so far in your interaction, both with officials of the railways and with officials of the Odisha administration, what can you tell us? What can you tell us about the number of injured, the number of those who've lost their lives, and the number of those who are critical?
Well, the Odisha government has shared the latest information with us. So the death toll right now officially is 261, and the number of injured is 1,000. The state government is yet to give us a breakup of how many were critically injured, how many injuries were not very serious, have been allowed to go back home. However, the overall picture, of course, remains serious, because the number 1,000 injuries is not by any means is a small number. And of course, the humongous death toll figure of 261 deaths is something which is of catastrophic proportions.